I asked you to come here because you have an amazing job. Like, obviously I don't know anyone who DJs for a living. So tell me your backstory. Like, where did you grow up and how did you get into this?
Let me just check one thing real quick.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, we're good.
Is it recording?
Yep, it is. I just want to make sure the levels are right. I'm a perfectionist, and part of what you're seeing right now is behind the scenes, me helping to make this right, even though I'm sure it's going to be right as is. Those are kind of the aesthetics of just trying to make things right. It's funny because part of my ethos and my work ethics come from not knowing things. So like Photoshop, Pro Tools, even DJing and radio were kind of things that I had to teach myself, that I was really into, that I knew that, I guess at a young age I didn't realize that I needed a brand, or I hate that word brand, but I needed something to kind of house all these things that I'm doing into this one vision. And so I've always loved music since I was a kid. I knew I wanted to get into music. I knew I wanted to make music. I knew I wanted to share music. And, you know, in a lot of ways, a lot of us are doing that today, but how can I create something that is different? So like my adventure is utilizing social media to document my journey as a DJ to clubs or around the world or to the radio station. You know, like rather than be this cool DJ, I want to be more than that. I want to tell a story. And also I think I'm very aware of existence and time on earth, and I kind of want to share it. I want to have a story that when I'm no longer here, it's living on the internet for people to see, or my kids, or, you know. So
you just started out as a fan, basically. Like, you really loved music.
I'm still a fan. I'm still a fan. Like, that's never changed. That's the most important thing. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like because I'm so advanced in terms of like where I was at when I was 7 or 8. I mean, I hope if I'm not doing this wrong. I'm consulting for big companies now in terms of music and working in radio and things like that. You start to learn that there are algorithms and there are numbers involved, and there's formulas in terms of how you program radio or music. Like, I don't subscribe to that. Being on public radio, you have the freedom to play the music that you love, which I identify with in terms of being a kid when you just love music. I still just love music, and I don't understand these formulas. Like, all I know is public radio, you play what you want, you play what you love, which is a blessing, you know? And now that I'm advancing myself and getting my feet wet in these different entities, I'm learning that not everybody had it that way. People don't understand the freedom of radio or the freedom of doing this yourself. And because you're doing this, you're doing it your way, which means these folks have, like, think about it. To do this in big corporations, they need approvals from so many different people that the vision gets lost, but you do it directly. And that's kind of the way I do my radio show, is like, I have full free reign to do what I want to do. And that all stems from me being a kid who was 7 years old, who's in love with music. And that's never stopped. And so when I come into the radio station every Monday night, I still have that passion. I still have that curiosity, you know? I'm grateful to still have that, you know? Yeah, so that's where, I know that you've been doing this for quite some time. So that's where I just find it kind of shocking because, well, with this day and age, there's like millennials, there's people who switch careers so many times throughout their life. And with something that's so creative, where you're always like digging, always researching, how do you stay creatively stimulated? That's a good question. Thanks to the internet. I mean, before the internet, you know, I was going to record stores and trying to find things and looking at covers and reading magazines. But now with the internet, I mean, that's a whole nother world. Like, you're watching me right now through the internet. Like, this is a whole new world. So like 10, 20 years ago, you would support bands that had labels and had funding. It's 2017 and I'm supporting kids making music out of their bedrooms. Like, that's revolutionary. And that's the age we live in, that you can be an independent artist. So you could be a kid making music in your bedroom and you might get airplay on my radio show. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a beauty to that. Wow. And I'm all about breaking the rules, and I'm all about thinking outside the box. And sometimes it's hard. Like, sometimes I understand Kanye West. As much as I don't like him, I get him, and it freaks me out because you want to do things that may be brand new and that are different and that are, what's the term I'm looking for, that are just outside the box. And you have these entities that keep you boxed in and say, no, we're gonna keep it, you know, they say, we're gonna keep it traditional. And it's like, I don't want to be traditional. Like, that's, if you're traditional, you have to keep up with all these different entities. Like, now you've got online radio shows like Dub Lab, NTS Radio, that are amazing. Beats Radio, and people are now turning to their computer and to their phones to listen to music. Like, how great is that? And now people are making music from their phones. Like, people are now creating, like, I got this app and I was on an airplane making music and I was like, this is actually good. So now anybody can make music and anybody can get their song on the radio. Like, how great is that? Yeah, anybody can make their videos now. You know, you don't need Paramount or Fox or Viacom. You can just have YouTube, and that's a beautiful thing.
I wanted to tell you the story when you came in. So a few years ago, about like 5 or 6 years ago, I was at an econ photo shoot, much like this, for this brand that I was working for. And the photographer was playing this record that I didn't have the guts to go up to him and be like, hey, what is this, you know? I didn't have the guts, and it was just stuck in my head. And I tried to even research like the lyrics and everything. So it was killing me for the next like couple days what that song was. It was a really long, really kind of slow disco song. So I tried to find it everywhere, gave up on it. And then this one night I was at my friend Kevin's house and he was making dinner. He always listens to you. He always has KCRW just up at all times.
Thanks, Kevin. Shout out to Kevin.
Shout out to Kevin.
I see you, Kevin.
Yeah, so this is years and years ago.
Okay.
And you played the song.
Who played the song? Kevin?
You played the song.
Oh, I played the song.
Yeah. It was like late one night during the week, and you played the song. And the song is Claude Javert, Love for the Sake of Love.
Oh, yeah.
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 That was, do you remember how long ago that was? That was probably
I played so many songs.
Ever ago. Yeah. And that introduced a whole new realm of disco to me, because I was really into funk and soul, and that was amazing. I didn't realize that disco could be slow. It could be very pronounced. It could be very like rhythmatic, I guess,
or melodic.
Melodic, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was life-changing. So what I'm asking is, when you hear stories from people who listen to you, I feel like it's kind of challenging whenever people say, hey, I really like your work on YouTube and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, crap, now I have to do it better or do it worse.
Yeah.
Like, do you get motivation out of that, or do you get inspired out of that, or do you get reminded of what you really
that's what it is. It's a reminder in terms of what I do and why I do it.
Yeah.
Because when you're on the radio, like DJing in a club is one thing, because I can see 300 people in a room and I can tell when something's working or it isn't working.
Yeah.
When I'm on the radio,
you don't know.
You don't. But also, that's the beauty of radio, is you don't care if it's working, because I love what I'm playing. Like, I love it. And to find 3 hours of music that you love and care about can be challenging. Like, there were times when I can only find 2 hours of music that I love and care about. I'm like, damn. Like, so I got to pull from the crates and find some stuff. To answer your question, you know, I think about the times when I listened to the radio as a kid, and, you know, I never got to meet the people that inspired me. Like, there are a few DJs where, like, growing up in LA, music was my escape. Music was this thing where you didn't know what the person looked like. You didn't know what the studio looked like, but that was all configured in your head. Like, you imagined that this DJ looked this way and the room looked that way, and it just challenged me to think outside the box. And so when like, for instance, when you just told me your story, it's like, wow, I remember the times when that hit me in a different way. So I can connect with that. And that's what keeps me grounded as well. And I think that's what's so important with radio is, you know, we should all be grounded as a DJ. You should reflect your community. You should be a part of your community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always listening. When I'm in the car and I see somebody playing some music, I always want to know what they're listening to. Yeah. When I'm at a barber shop, I like to know what they're playing. When I'm at a restaurant and I hear the cooks playing like ranchero music or whatever, like, I want to hear, like, what song is that? And I'll Shazam it just so I know. Yeah. Like, I feel like it's not so important what I listen to, but I want to hear what everybody else is listening to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
When someone's like, oh, I love your last session, I love what you were playing and stuff, does that, like, influence what you play in your next radio show? Or, like, because, like, for me, whenever someone's like, oh, I really like this, and then everyone else thumbs ups it, then I'll consistently make that, but that kind of hinders my
you got to block that out. You got to do you. I don't like compliments, and when I just heard this interview yesterday, or not an interview, a story about Adele, and she's given up touring, and she's incredible. I saw Adele and I was like, wow. Yeah. But her whole thing is having to meet people, and when she's complimented, she feels most vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel that, like, because I don't know how to react, and I don't want to let this person down. I hope I'm everything they thought I would be, and those are expectations that are just too heavy for us as creatives. Like, I always just follow my gut. And so I just keep doing what I'm doing. And the best thing about doing what I'm doing is I don't know what I'm doing. I'll go to San Francisco to DJ, and I'll post on Instagram, hey, come into San Francisco, I'm here. And people will come to me and be like, yeah, I thought this was like a meet and greet. Like, I know you from Instagram and I love your videos, and I thought this was like some kind of Instagram thing. I'm like, no, you know I DJ, right? And they're like, no, I didn't know that. How do you not? It's weird, you know? Because the internet can allow you to be whoever you want to be. The great thing about like what you do is that I'm assuming you answer to nobody except for yourself. Maybe you answer.
Sometimes.
Okay, but that's cool. But you're not answering to like human resources and payroll and accounting. Like there's freedom in what we do, and that's very liberating. I never take that freedom for granted. You know, I just keep doing what I do. And like the term I love is passion projects. Like everything I do is a passion project, you know? And along the way I get these really cool gigs that help pay the rent. But happiness is so important. And, you know, I feel fulfilled as a human being to be able to do what I do, and I never take that for granted. It's life. Like before you know it, it's all done. So smile and just make people happy, and smile at people who maybe need a smile. And, you know, music helps bring people together, you know, so make the world a better place. Michael Jackson, rest in peace.
How do you pull yourself out of a creative rut? So say you have 3 hours, but you only have 2 hours of music. What do you do? Oh, wow. This is an easy question. I never plan, especially like DJ gigs. I go in there, I've got my music, and you're going to get what you get. And I realize that sometimes we as creatives put too much pressure on ourselves. And I do plan my radio sets. Like I like to spend all week going through emails and finding things that I love. But I find that my favorite shows are the ones where I never planned, where I just kind of went in there. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be what it's going to be. And those always turn out to be my favorite shows, you know? And when I spend so much time planning, I realize that I was never happy with that. But the key to all that is that I'm realizing that I'm my worst critic, that even my worst show is probably someone's favorite show. We got to turn that shitty committee off, you know, and just do it. Just do it. Well, thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you, Christine.
How can we find you on like social media?
At Anthony Valadez on Instagram, on Twitter. Snapchat is Anthony Valadez, #1. Anthony Valadez 1. Monday nights on KCRW, midnight to 3. AnthonyValadez.org. And just if you see me in Venice walking my dog, say hi. Don't be a stranger.